Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land and investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how much money can you really make per year buying and selling land.
You can make as much as you want or as little as you let happen.
Here's the spoiler alert. I'll tell you the difference between land and just about every other real estate type or niche that I know of, like including commercial real estate. All the other types, flipping houses, buying and selling mobile homes, or even skyscrapers and stuff at that way high end, is very consistent. You know what you're going to buy it for within reason, and you know what you're going to sell it for. Rarely do you come across an opportunity where you can just knock it out of the park, where you buy a piece of property for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 and sell it for $500,000. You think it's going to be worth 80 or 90, and you find out, you get in there, it's worth way more. There's something about vacant land because it's not the primary residence for a seller. They're tired of getting the tax bill. They're never going to use it. They just don't care. It all boils down to a fantastic opportunity for people like us.
You know what's interesting though? I mean, no. When you started to talk, you said just talking about real estate. I know of no other business that has the same consistent or more than consistent return on investment, but that's nothing. You have to still work at it. I think people think that, I'm going to do nothing like that guy. They don't know what that guy put into it to get to that point.
Right.
You really do have to work at this. So when we talk about how much money you can really make in a year, don't think you're just going to buy one and sit back and watch it happen and just your bank balance is just going to do it. You got to work at this.
Right. As I say, we'll get into it. It takes a certain personality. And I'll tell you what it doesn't, if you like HGTV show flips and interior design, this is absolutely not for you. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Rod asks, "Hi, I am selling a cheap property. The buyer enlisted a buyer's agent and title insurance. I'm receiving requests for disclosures and seller's info from both the agency and the title company. I cannot answer 99% of the disclosure questions with a yes or no answer, nor do I care to certify anything.
Exactly.
Is all this typical?
Yes.
I feel ethically bound to the buyer, but honestly, I wish I would have declined from the agent from the beginning. Can I or should I still back out?" Well, you can.
What would you do, Jill? I know what I would do. I bet it's the same.
Yeah, I actually probably would say, you know what, this is not how I do things. I'm not going to spend a week of my life, I guess it depends on what all they're asking. And I wouldn't disclose all that.
Since this is the Truth Week about land flipping, I loathe state-issued or a real estate division or real estate whatever, real estate
forms.
The government office of real estate for state X. I loathe those forms. Mm-hmm. They've been built over time based on lawsuits by lawyers. They're a quarter of an inch thick at least. You have to check all this stuff, and it's actually Jill and I did an office lease, so I read it all. It's a joke. It's nothing short of dual agency is nothing short of a joke. Mm-hmm. That's not what the show's about, so I'm not going to get into it, and I'm also not going to lose my temper here.
Right.
What he's talking about is there any lead-based paint on this land that you're buying?
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
You're buying a piece of land, idiot.
Yeah.
There's no lead-based paint.
You want me to sign that? That's probably the kind of packet that they're handing him, too.
There it is.
Because that's the reality. They don't know the difference.
They don't know either.
So
if you've ever gone to real estate school, they don't teach you what's in that packet. They teach you all the laws to pass a test.
Making you sign something about lead-based paint, which is awesome. Oh, that's so funny. So I feel it, Rod. I mean, this is personal preference, but, I'll tell you, realistically, we traditionally aren't going to do these deals, and they don't find us.
That's why if an agent comes to us and they say we're representing the seller or buyer, we say that's good.
Yep, that's
Knock
nice.
yourself out.
That's between you two. It has nothing to do with me.
You just made it not our seller and not our buyer.
Yeah. So, yep. And just because of that doesn't mean I'm going to do all this stuff for you. Nope. You have you know what, Rod, put it back on them. You could say, look, this is not how I do things, and I don't have really, I'm not going to do it this way. So if you want to do the deal this way, I'm happy to. And you can get title insurance after the fact, after you bought the property. Knock yourself out. So, but if you really, and if this is the way you only want to do it, then I respect it, and we'll just part ways here.
That's fine.
So then the ball is in their court. They're either going to do it your way or they walk, and you won either way.
We just did a contract. Jill and I do a lot of house deals, and we refuse to do dual agency. What dual agency is this? That you're signing, when you sign these documents, one of them says, if the seller, who I represent, by the way, refuses to pay for any reason, you pay me. You're the buyer.
Right.
And so there's a box for that. And I said, no, and you can say yes, no, or just say, you can say yes or no. And I always say no. Not only no, but I cross it out with a ruler and a red pen.
Because they are not representing us. They're representing
We just lost the deal over
person.
that.
Yeah.
Because that's how ego-driven this agent was. They said, well, if you're not going to play my game. So when's the last time you've ever signed a contract, even a mortgage or something, where the person just said, oh, you're not going to sign it as is without editing anything? You don't get to do it.
Right.
Never.
Isn't that amazing?
The stuff that agents get away with cracks me up.
It's ridiculous.
It's truly ridiculous,
And it makes
Jill.
me sad. People,
Me too.
Most of the community will sit down and just blindly sign away because they trust the agent.
Yeah.
Well, you got to check that first of all. And then they trust all these forms because they're state issued and they're all required. Come on, really?
If you're going to be successful at this, that's like ties into the show.
That's right. I'm going to start issuing lead-based paint disclosure forms on all of my pieces of dirt. It's hilarious.
They'll tell you this country and this world did not get built on checking forms and
Right.
complying with every single tiny rule and law. Trust me.
You know
it
what?
Didn't.
Let's all think about some of the big financial moguls that we know. And you know what? I'm willing to bet they have done some of their biggest deals, if not their biggest deals, on a cocktail napkin. And everybody signed it, and that's what they took to the bank.
Well said, Joe.
Thank you.
Even a handshake.
And that's the truth. Yeah.
Even a handshake.
Yep.
The only kind of deals that really work for anyone are where they're mutually beneficial. You don't win by tricking somebody into signing a quarter-inch thick form and doing some stuff that they're not comfortable with, like signing a lead-based paint disclosure. By the way, Rod, the real question to your is, should I just, I feel bad about, he says, I feel bad about not really knowing my land. Well, I'll tell you, this will make you feel better. I don't know any of our land. We've never seen any of it. And we're loud about it.
Yeah.
We know nothing about this real estate.
It might
See
be
this
worth
picture?
5 times what I'm selling it for.
Or it
Good
might be
for
worth
you.
nothing. See this picture that we snapped on our screen in Google Earth? That's what we know. Mm-hmm. And so if I ever had to fill out a form about any property that I ever owned before I sold it, here's what I would do. I would say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it has termites. I don't know what it has wood on it. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because I've never been there. And if this makes you uncomfortable, you really shouldn't buy it.
And I'm not a licensed agent. I'm not required to know.
Right.
So, next.
Well, I think, honestly, what you're required by law to disclose is the stuff you actually know about.
You do know.
For instance, this happened to me one time. I did a deal with the seller, and the seller said, oh, by the way, it was 5 deals in Pinal County, Arizona. I've never...
Tucson area.
Well, it was the
North
center one, Pinal.
Is it north
Pima.
of Tucson? Oh, okay. Yeah. North of Tucson?
Yeah, it's
okay.
middle between Tucson and
Phoenix. Got it.
And the only reason I know this is because I actually, after they said it, I went out and confirmed it. But the seller said, by the way, these 5 properties or 6 properties that I'm selling you, one of them's got, somebody dumped a bunch of stuff on there. There's refrigerators and like an old chest of drawers. And I said, oh, stop right there. Now he told me that there's an EPA dump site on one of these properties that I have to, so now I got to go look at it. But if I never knew, then I can say, I don't know, but now I know.
Right.
So because with this particular property, I swear to God, you and I went and looked this together. This particular property was like, I'm talking right on the freeway, so it was really easy to look at. And so I did, and sure enough, it's like this popular dumping ground for people that were cleaning out their houses.
It's hilarious.
This is during the downturn. So I ended up not doing the deal like, I don't need an EPA dump site.
Right. And that's
Had I done the deal, well, let me ask you this, ethics woman. Would you have done the deal if they said, nothing?
Oh, if I didn't know?
Yeah.
Of course I would.
So would I.
Yeah, if I had no idea and he said nothing and I'm just looking at it on Google Earth and I don't see anything, yeah, I'd absolutely do the deal. So,
would you do it if what happened to me happened?
No. No, the minute they said refrigerator, I wouldn't even gone and look at it. I would have said pass. I'll buy the other 4. I don't want that one.
It was a situation, and I agree with you, it was a situation where I was like going that way anyway.
Tires don't scare me. I've had some with like a bunch of tires piled up on. I'm like, that doesn't worry me.
In fact, I'll tell you, the only thing that does worry me is refrigerators because of the Freon / whatever it is, R14 or R44, I don't remember.
Right.
The chemicals inside.
Right.
And then he says, right at the end, and we'll be done with this, I feel ethically bound to the buyer, but honestly, I wish I would have declined the agent right from the beginning. It's a classic case of answering your own question right at the end. I'd back out.
Yeah, like I said, I would call the seller and go, look, this is not the kind of transactions I want to do. If you want to proceed, I will do this, 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 and this. I'm going to put unknown on everything. I'm going to spend no more than 1 hour, and that's it. And if that doesn't work for you, I understand. There's some other great property, and I wish you all the best.
You know what's worse than real estate agent in some of these situations is a lawyer, because they can they're financially vested in stretching a deal out as long as it'll go.
It's true.
And anybody and everybody knows that time kills deals.
That's true.
Too much time between when you start and when you end is everybody can change their mind. Today's topic: how much money can you really make at this per year? What's a real truth? Am I going to leave my job right now, Jill? And
oh, you should.
No, please don't say that.
I'm just kidding.
This is
Could you imagine?
This is the meat of the show. What's the real answer here?
That'd be so funny if I'm. You know what? I quit. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna be an investor. What do you know about it? No, nothing. I just got an education program, and that's what I'm doing today.
Like multi-level marketing.
Yeah, please don't do that. That is not what you should do.
When you leave your job, you should be saying, damn, I wish I would have done that 2 years ago.
Right?
Or a year ago or 6 months ago.
Here's my funny story. We have a guy named Ryan who, it was really funny. He'd been in our group for I don't know how many months, 6 or so months. And he's cruising along. He's like half interested, doing a deal a month, but every deal a month he doubles his money. So finally he reached out to me after, I don't know, 6 or 8 months, goes, I just realized I am putting so little effort into this and I'm making money. He's like, the light bulb went off. Gee, how much could I make if I actually applied myself?
The light bulb.
It was so funny. I'm like,
I experienced that exact same moment. Exactly.
Imagine. And so it's funny. So after he realized, wow, I could actually really make something here. I'm not even trying. Well, so then he decided that I am going to try. And what's funny is I think he's doing well because he went dark, which is what happens when people really get into it. They don't have time to chat and ask questions. They're too busy doing deals. And he does have a day job. And I appreciate that. So that's the right way to do this.
Exactly.
So so how much money can you really make per year? Huh? What do you want? I mean, here's what I try to be real. I want to be realistic with people, and I don't want to hold anybody back. How is that? So whatever you have, here's what I say: whatever you can afford to invest, don't go take out a second and don't do that.
No, don't do it. Don't borrow $1.
So let's say you're coming to this with you could have $10,000 or $50,000, whatever it is, or $100,000 of an acquisition fund to test this. Let's say, whatever it is, divided by 10, and start doing those deals. Go out and seek out. This is my advice. I don't know if you have different advice, Stephen.
I do.
Okay, but my advice is don't put all your money, all your eggs in one basket. Don't find one deal, plop $100,000 on it and wait.
Geez, yeah.
I'd rather you have 10 deals at $10,000 a deal that you're flipping, and get all those out of the way. And if one of them goes a little sideways, I put down 10,000, I only sold it for 15. Oh, oops. A lot of our people, they see that as a failure, which is hilarious because they say I didn't double my money. I'm like, knock it off. You did great. But on all the other 9, you did double your money. Great. Now we're at $295,000. Let's just say, whatever it is. And you figured a lot out. So that's, and you don't sweat too when you pay cash for things, and you're doing it methodically. So
when you start out, you should never, not for one moment, be outside of your financial comfort zone.
yes.
And most of our members are really conservative. They're like accountants or engineers, or they have other types of career-oriented jobs, and they don't leave their job until they have that Ryan moment Jill just described. Like, wow, I really should try at this. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Here's some silly little cliche-ish answers that I've heard to how much money can you really make per year. Mm-hmm. Well, you can make as much money that you like based on how much you put in. You're going to take out what you put in. I can't say what I really think about that on this show. I hate silly. These little cliche-ish sayings. You know, that's just ridiculous. Here's the real answer to this question. You need to spend 6 months really learning, and put some serious effort into learning on landinvestors.com. It's completely free. Ask a bunch of questions and find out if this is for you. Find out if spreadsheets are your thing, and meal merges are your thing. And if that is right up in your wheelhouse, or maybe you have another company that is related to this kind of stuff. Maybe you purchased some tax liens in the past. The chances of you succeeding and really knocking it out of the park are so much higher if you bring something to the table like that long before you ever find out about us or this business. Or maybe you're an online marketer. Maybe you sold a bunch of stuff on eBay and you're looking for something different to sell.
You understand how to run a business. I'm describing
some of our most successful members. They're bringing some creative. Maybe you're a former county commissioner. You're retired. And now, for the first time in your life, because you don't work there, it's okay for you politically to do real estate deals. It's not a conflict of interest in the eyes of your constituency. Maybe you're just one of these guys who, and this is me, who was so hungry, like at age 24, that just nothing was going to stop you. You know, I was a commercial real estate broker when I started this. That's what I brought to the table. I was sick and tired of complicated deals and big contracts like we talked about earlier. So bringing something to the table really, really, really helps. Then it's endless. You can literally, we have a couple members here that make millions of dollars a month, every single month in and month out. I just saw, I very closely monitor who signs up and why, and who leaves our group and why. And some of the people that leave our group, I'm shocked. They're so successful. They've just outgrown us. And that's okay. That's what we want, quite honestly. You know, you don't raise children to live with you forever.
Oh gosh, no.
You raise them to go out, and once they're out of the oven, I call it, then fly.
It's true.
How's that for mixing cliches? Once they're out of the oven, let them fly out of the nest.
That's as good as we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Right. What's very likely then? Let's just say what's likely, not how much money can you really make. What do you think's likely, Jill? What's a perfect member? What's a perfect...
you want me to really share?
Yeah, it's Truth Week. A perfect 12-month situation for a member where they come outside of the 12 months with us.
I've had people really slowly doing this, testing it all out month by month, trying just to increase their acquisitions just a little bit. And they're between, I'm going to say, it's north of 50,000, but between 50 and 100,000, I want to say.
Accumulation. Like equity accumulation per year. Mm-hmm. That's about right, too. That's what I think, too. And
that's just slowly figuring it out, because as they started with the $2,000, became $4,000, became $8,000, became $16,000. At the end of the year, they're like, they don't even know it. That's what's so funny. Remember Michelle? That was great. Michelle in Florida. He turned around and went, oh my gosh, he hadn't even done his books until we had him on one of our shows. So he shared this a while back. He was on one of our podcasts, and he said, before this show, I thought I should add up how much money I've made in the last year. And he goes, I didn't realize how much I made.
Right.
He just was so into the routine of doing it and doubling and getting out, and it was awesome.
Exactly.
It's really funny. So that's what happens to a good, healthy, right in the middle mix of our folks. They understand it. They're trying to learn. They start doing these exactly how we share. Next thing you know, a year goes by and they go, whoops, that worked. Now I'm going to make some different decisions.
If one of my kids, I'm going to end on this. If one of our kids came to me and said, you know what? This would never happen, by the way.
Huh.
Can you sit down with me and spend 20 or 30 minutes and tell me the real truth about this? Because I'm actually interested. And none of them are interested, by the way. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
So this is what I would say. It's not about the money at all. So I want you to forget about money. I want you to look at it like it's a math class or some class that you really enjoy. Whichever, what, science, reading, I don't know. And I would say you have to learn what this is really all about. In our case, what this is about is sourcing, bird dogging, undervalued real estate, and taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to take you to the moon. The money, and I know this is a cliche, but I'll tell you, if you're into that and you're into the data element of that, the money that you will make will take you as far is way more than you can ever imagine. Finding real estate right now, sitting here right now, the moment you're listening to this, there are thousands and tens of thousands of people who just decided, and these are people who own buildings, apartment buildings, houses, land, tons of land people, that they're just not interested in owning this property anymore at all. And if they had your letter in their hand, they just opened the letter and said, I'll give you 10 grand for it right now, no strings attached, I'm going to walk away, they'd be signing that thing and sending it back immediately. That is what this is all about. It's not about the dough. Mm-hmm. Aligning yourself with a cash buyer as a partner so you can walk them through that so they make a good return on their investment, that's easy. What this is about is learning how to use data to buy undervalued real estate and then selling it. All the sales piece is really easy after that. The tech piece of this couldn't be easier as tech goes. It's all about making that connection in your head to data and paper and real estate. That's what it's all about. That's what I would tell them, and then they would say, yeah, it turns out I really don't want to do this. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, you've done it again. You spent another 22 minutes with us, I guess, listening to the Land Academy show. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode where we discuss why some members fail.
And we answer your question posted on our online community, which is free, found at landacademy.com.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Good shows. This is good. This is a good week.
This is truth.
Uh-huh.
Truthful.
Yeah.
Not that we sit around and don't tell the truth, but the fact is, we do lots of episodes. This is what, 718, I guess, 717.
Right.
And sometimes it's got to be entertaining. And sometimes you have to skip along the top and have some fun. And sometimes you just got to get right in there, get your hands real dirty and say, yeah, like this next show here, why some members fail. We're going to talk very truthfully about that. Go ahead.
I was thinking about some of the people that you talked about on this last show. It's really easy to get excited about those that are really killing it, but it's more beneficial to talk about the people that are the middle group, because that's the reality.
That's right, the bell curve
there's
group.
Always going to be people at the top, and there's always going to be people at the bottom. But it's that middle range, and that's for me what I really want to know. What's the most likely outcome? I don't ever want anyone to prop me up falsely and tell me you're going to be the 1%, right?
Yeah.
That makes me so
You can be anything
angry.
you want to be. No, I can't.
Oh, you're going to be just like this person. Yeah, that's nice. We hope that, but we're not going to go there. Let's be realistic here, which is funny because that's usually not how I operate. But let's be realistic here because I want to set you up to succeed.
Exactly.
So that's it. Hey, share the fun by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you are listening. And while you're at it, rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.